Every month, I invest exactly $583 into my Roth IRA. And today, I'm breaking down what a Roth IRA actually is, how to open one, and why you should be investing that oddly specific amount if you want to retire a millionaire. And stick around to the end because I'll share the exact funds I chose in my Roth IRA. Okay, first of all, I'm tired of hearing that term Roth IRA. Everyone tells you to open it up, but no one tells you what it actually is. So first of all, it's not an investment. It is a type of account. You can actually have a Roth IRA open and still technically not be investing because you have to go in and choose investments within that account. Now, I know this can be a little confusing, especially if you're new to the world of investing. So here's an object lesson that yours truly came up with to help visualize how the whole process of investing works. Okay, when you start investing, there are 3 things you have to choose in this order. First, you need to choose a brokerage. This is like choosing a bank. It's who you open your account with and where your account is gonna live. This is gonna be a company like Fidelity, Vanguard, or Charles Schwab. And so that's what this giant container is gonna represent. So the very first step to start investing is to choose your brokerage, and me personally, I've chosen Fidelity. The second thing you need to choose is your account type, represented by this medium-sized bowl. This is where your Roth IRA comes in. It's a type of account, and in fact, IRA stands for Individual Retirement Account. And other types of accounts include a 401k, a traditional IRA, or a taxable brokerage account. Each one of these accounts has different rules, and each one of these accounts is taxed differently, but that's why a Roth IRA is my personal favorite, but more on that in just a little bit. The third thing you choose is your actual investments. You don't just transfer cash into your Roth IRA and your money just starts magically growing. You have to use that cash in order to buy different kinds of investments like stocks, bonds, index funds, mutual funds, or even REITs. And the brokerage doesn't automatically pick these investments for you. You have to choose them. Otherwise, you're just gonna have cash sitting in your Roth IRA account and you're not really gonna be investing. So again, a Roth IRA is just the account type and not the investment itself. And as I mentioned before, let me explain why I prefer a Roth IRA over those other investment accounts. It's gonna come with some sweet tax advantages. With a Roth IRA, you invest with after-tax dollars, meaning you've already paid income taxes on the money before it goes into your Roth IRA account. But because of that, the money that you invest in your Roth IRA is going to grow tax-free because you already paid taxes on it earlier. And finally, when you take out that money and all that growth in retirement, everything you pull out is gonna be yours because it's also tax-free. So all you're doing is just paying tax on your money once and then never again. Not on the growth, not on the withdrawals, nothing. And that's pretty huge. That means if you invest regularly over 30 plus years and it grows to 2 or 3 million bucks, guess what? You can pull all of it out tax-free. And let me show you exactly how awesome this is. Let's say you're 30 years old and you're just getting started investing. You've got nothing saved for retirement and you plan to invest until age 67 when you can retire with full benefits. And just like I do, you put $583 a month into your Roth IRA. Let's assume a 10% rate of return on your investments. That may seem overly optimistic, but historically, the 30-year return of the S&P 500 has been a roughly 10 to 12%. So it is possible, but you can adjust this lower if you want to. And based on these numbers, after 37 years of investing, you'd have $2,716,681. And 90% of that total was just compound growth, meaning you acquired $2,457,829 tax-free. That's why people love Roth IRAs. It's like legal tax magic. You're still playing by the rules because it almost feels like cheating because of that double tax advantage. But there is one catch to a Roth IRA. You do have to wait until you're 59 and a half to withdraw your earnings penalty free. If you pull out your gains before then, the IRS will happily charge you an income tax plus a 10% penalty. But you can withdraw the money you contributed at any time without taxes or penalties. So let's say if you put in $7,000 over the years and it grows to $10,000, you can still pull out that original 7K if things do get rough. But I wouldn't recommend it. That's like a last resort kind of thing because it's basically stealing from your future self. And definitely don't touch the gains unless you just like donating money to the government. By the way, in case you're wondering why I invest exactly $583 every month, it's because there's a limit to how much you can contribute to your Roth IRA each year. The limit for this year is currently $7,000 if you're under 50. So divide that by 12 months and you get $583.33. I just round it down to keep things simple, and I keep that extra 33 cents in case I come across wishing well. Anyway, by investing $583 every month, I know I'm gonna max out my Roth IRA by the end of the year. And maxing that out is the goal. I want to get as much money in that account as I can, as soon as I can, so that compound growth has plenty of time to work its magic. Because that consistency early on is the key to building long-term wealth. And if you can't hit that $583 amount yet, that's totally okay. Start with what you can, $100, $200, whatever you can do to just get started and build that habit of regular investing. In fact, I think when I first opened it in 2020, I put in like 50 bucks. All right, guys, let's get personal real quick. Let's talk about the funds you choose inside your Roth IRA. Because like I said, your brokerage doesn't choose your investments for you. They're not gonna choose the stocks for you or the index funds. That's gonna be up to you, and it can be a little intimidating. What I recommend to the majority of investors who just want financial peace and don't wanna be stressing about the stock market is to go with index funds and or mutual funds. Mutual funds are professionally managed investments where investors will pool their money together to buy investments like stocks and bonds. An index fund is basically a bundle of stocks that tracks a portion of the market, like the S&P 500, for example, which tracks 500 of the biggest companies in the US. Index funds are technically a type of mutual fund, but the main difference is that mutual funds are usually actively managed and therefore have higher fees, and index funds are passively managed and typically have lower fees. Again, I'm gonna share with you the funds I personally invest in and what those fees look like in comparison. Now, both the index fund and the mutual fund, they spread your money across a lot of different companies. So your investments are already diversified when you purchase one of them. And basically, if one company tanks that you're invested in, your retirement doesn't go down with it. Now for the fun part, here's some funds that I personally invest in. First is FXAIX. That's the Fidelity 500 Index Fund. It tracks the S&P 500 and has a really low expense ratio of 0.015%. In other words, it has very low fees. So if you invest $10,000, you're only paying like $1.50 a year, and that is incredibly cheap. All right, and the next fund that I invest in is FBGRX. This is the Fidelity Blue Chip Growth Fund. It focuses on large US companies with a strong potential for growth. This one's a bit more aggressive and comes with a higher expense ratio, around 0.79%, but it's had some strong returns over the long run. A little riskier, yes, but I'm young and I've got time to ride the wave. And that's pretty much it, guys. 2 funds. Pretty boring, and honestly a lot of the companies within both of these funds overlap, so it might not even make sense in that way. But if you are interested in just starting to invest, definitely recommend FXAIX or VOO. These are both index funds that track the S&P 500, which is a pretty good idea if you're looking to invest for the long term. And just so you guys know, I am not a financial advisor. In fact, I was getting licensed to become an advisor, but if I did that, I wouldn't be able to make YouTube videos for you guys just because of all these like SEC regulations. But if you're looking for just some boring investments that give you financial peace, this is what I do. It's a good mix of both boring and bold, kind of like wearing Jordans with pleated khakis. But do some research yourself and choose what funds are right for you. If you're brand new to investing and you want something simple, easy, and effective, index funds are a solid choice. And if you're ready to start investing in a Roth IRA, the good news is it's really easy to open one. Just go to Fidelity, Vanguard, or Schwab's websites, click open an account, and choose Roth IRA. You fund it, you pick your investments, and boom, you got some skin in the game. And finally, here are 2 Roth IRA pro tips before we wrap up, and you don't want to miss this. 1, automate it. This makes the whole process foolproof. Then you don't have to think about transferring money every month, and it'll become easier to invest than to not invest. 2, invest early in the year if you can. Some people like to max out their Roth IRA at the beginning of the year, and if you can do this, great. More time in the market does equal more growth. And finally, guys, consistency beats perfection. Don't stress if you can't hit $583 a month right away. Start with a smaller amount, like $100 or $200. Whatever fits your budget, then build up. Stay the course. Don't panic when the market dips. Just stay calm and keep contributing. That's how millionaires are made. And for full disclosure, my wife and I invest in more than just a Roth IRA. I break down my investments in more detail in this next video, so check it out to see my simple investing plan to hit $1 million stress-free. Give it a click and I'll see you guys over there. Peace. Also, FYI guys, I'm kind of sick. That's why my voice sounds a little silly today. But yeah, no, thanks for watching.